Hello. So this is a bit of a different setup than what I normally do. This is going to be a tarot / oracle reading for the blue moon this weekend. So I'm not going to do too much of an intro. Like I said, this is the first time I've done a setup like this. First time I've done a bit of a reading like this, especially for the moon. So I'm just going to drop in. Welcome. Especially if it's your first time here. I'm Sian Maria. Completely forgot to do my introduction. And yeah, this is going to be a tarot reading for the blue moon. So let's get into it. I'm just going to ground myself into this space. If you want to join me, you can take a few deep breaths. I'm just leaving all the worries and my dog's having a panic behind me. Settle down. Just leaving all of the worries, the chaos, the outside world to the side for a moment and tuning into this space right now. And calling in a message today for the collective, for everybody watching this video or listening to this video. Calling to Grandmother Moon, the full moon this weekend, the blue moon, asking for her message, what wants to come through to the collective. Okay. So, let me check I'm in focus. So we have the cardinal moon, be bold and make the first move. This is my first time reading from this deck in a while. So be bold and make the first move. This has been quite an intense time for a lot of people. And I'm noticing the moon above this tree here, and it almost feels like the moon is watching over this tree and encouraging and willing it to make this first move. So there's something, if trying to make sure my necklace isn't knocking the microphone. If something has been calling you lately, or at the moment, like this is about this full moon, so kind of very, very recently, if something's been calling you and you're not really sure where it's coming from, it might be from this full moon. It might be the moon asking something of you. It could be something else outside of the moon as well, but there's something sort of coming to you at the moment. Maybe you don't quite know where it's coming from, and you're trying not to listen to it because it just feels like it's really out of the blue. And that's kind of where this be bold is coming from as well, is do something a little bit different. That's a message that's been coming up a lot with this full moon, with the blue moon, is do things that don't fit in. It's okay to do things that don't really make sense right now. And I feel like that's what this is pushing us to do. Like, just do something. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't need to have come from anywhere specific that you can realize. Just do it and see what happens. Like, see what happens. Okay. The Raven Spirit, Truth. So, again, another message that's been coming through. It's sort of echoing a lot of things that have already been coming through for this full moon. Truth. And here, truth is asking for a softness. There's a lot of softness here in this image. It's not a truth that is going to sort of knock you off your feet. It's it's being clear. I'm noticing like the sleeve of her dress here is clear, and there's this transparency that I'm getting from this card, and it's like a transparency with yourself. It's not about truth with somebody else or with a relationship or anything else. This moon, this whole thing feels very very personal. It's very about yourself. So there's a truth that you're kind of covering over a little bit within yourself, and there's some transparency that needs to happen. Oops, sorry, that's my dog again. But there's also obviously the raven here. So the raven is connected to Odin, it's connected to wisdom, and that's my dog drinking in the background. It's obviously a very quiet time here. There's been a load of chaos these last few days. I wonder if anybody else has been feeling that as well with this full moon. So back to the card, there's the raven connected to Odin, connected to wisdom. So it's kind of interesting here that there's this truth, wisdom. What does that want to say? I'm trying to put that into words. There's a truth of something that is just a fact. So maybe there's something that you're hiding from, especially in maybe the spiritual path, the spiritual realm, like your spiritual journey, that you're sort of over spiritualizing. And maybe there's just some wisdom that you're not letting in. I don't think it's wisdom that you're not seeing, it's wisdom that you're not letting in. There's a barrier, and you're sort of closing yourself off to it. Let's see, take this next card here. Then we have Wood Nymph, Beauty. So again, a lot of softness, a lot of soft feminine energy that I'm getting from this. Sorry, my dog is like half lying on top of me. She's so uncomfortable, bless her. Okay, Faye, off. Faye, come on, off. Go on, off. Off, Papa. Lie down. Good girl. Sorry about that. So, Wood Nymph, Beauty. Softness, water. I'm getting water here. A big thing that I've been noticing about this full moon has been this connection to water. And I think we all know that the moon is obviously connected to water. It is the moon that, I'm going to word this wrong, controls the tide, moves the tides, moves the waters, and it affects the waters within us as well. So we know for a fact that the moon affects the tides, the water on Earth, but we are also made up of, I believe, 70% water. So there's this idea that the moon is also affecting the waters within us. It's affecting us, it's affecting our physical bodies. And I feel like there's a beautiful thing here of just letting the moon's beauty just fill you up. Like swimming in the beauty of the full moon. And that beauty can mean a few things. It can mean its magic, its power, its simplicity, or its specialness. Whatever it might be, whatever beauty means to you. Maybe, I'm sure when I say that and I'm talking about being connected to the full moon, there's going to be something that comes up for you. So there's this encouragement this weekend to bathe in the beauty of the full moon and let it fill the waters within you. And there's one more here. I'm holding this deck, but I think there's one more here. So we have the Enchanted Fern Grotto Refuge. And like I said, it's interesting here. We've got this like really beautiful image. It kind of comes down and then up, and there's the two arms at the either side. This hand is holding the raven, and this one is holding, I believe, a Pegasus, a unicorn, flying horse or unicorn of some kind. I can't quite tell. I can't see unicorn horn. Some kind of Pegasus, I think. So So 2 animals here, flying animals, one that is very factual and grounded, even though it is a flight animal, and one that is mystical and not grounded in reality. Not to say, that maybe they weren't real, but in terms of where we are now, they're not grounded in reality. So there's a shift here in these images, and she's got her arms out as well. There's a lot of like arms out, and there's a lot of mystical energy coming from this card over this side, and like I said, very simple grounded energy coming from this card over here, and it almost feels like that's the path. There is this grounding that we can get from facing this truth, from facing whatever wisdom or thing that we've kind of been avoiding, and there's the path that leads to this inner refuge, to this what's the word? I want to say magic, but I'm not sure that's explaining it very well. There's this like magical beauty, this like, when you just feel something feels amazing and you see something beautiful and it just feels really good inside you. There's something over here, but we need to accept this truth and accept this wisdom in order to be able to get over here to this side. And I think that bathing in this beauty of the moon is like the bridge that can get us over there. So I think the moon is going to hold us this weekend as we face whatever truth, and don't take that word truth too literally. Like I said, it could just mean something, a fact or something that you're kind of overlooking or you're over mystifying. So truth in that sense. And if we bathe in these moon waters inside of us, that's going to help us and hold us as we work through this this truth, the revealing of this truth, and it's going to hold this refuge. So the refuge over here, enchanted, I didn't even see this word. There is this enchantment, this magic that's over on this side, but we have to work through this truth over here to get there. And I think this, be bold, make the first move. We have to actually take action on this. It's not going to happen. It's not something we're just going to work through. It's something that we need to engage with. And like I said, we have the moon at the very top here, sort of watching over the whole scene, holding us as we move through this. I'll take from this deck now. Okay, we have Thunder Moon Change. I'm going to take another one here as well. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so we have Thunder Moon Change and Waxing Crescent 5 Peace. Very different energies going on here. Extremely chaotic, and I don't know if you've heard any of my other stuff before, but when I say chaotic, I'm not using that word in a negative way. I'm not necessarily using it in a positive way either. I'm just using it in an explaining way. Chaos is chaos. Chaos is the opposite of order. It is the void. It is possibility. It is change, which is the actual word on this card. And then over here we have peace, which I wouldn't say is the opposite of chaos. I think order is the opposite of chaos, and I don't think we need order to have peace. But I do feel like there's an element of peace balancing out change, and I'm not saying we can't find peace if there's change going on. But there's an element of balancing these two aspects out. No, I'm wrong. No, I'm going to backtrack on that. I think it's asking for us to embrace the change. The way we find peace, whatever that might be, is through embracing the change. Over here you can see she's in this thunderstorm and she's kind of connected to the moon, almost like she's clinging on to the moon, not clinging on in a bad way, just kind of holding on, anchoring in. Anchoring in as all of this chaos is going on around her. But she doesn't look... She's quite peaceful. She's not in chaos. She's giving me the very similar vibes to this card over here. Even her hair is kind of moving in the same way. It feels like it's finding the peace within the chaos. And I don't mean find moments of peace in the chaos. It's more about finding, how am I trying to word this? Finding the peace through accepting the chaos and being in the chaos and not avoiding and pushing the chaos away. And I think that that's kind of the path here too that we just looked at. You know, that's even the order that I've just said before. This feels simple, but in opening up to this truth, there is going to be this chaos. We're going to look at this truth. We're going to open up to the chaos, be held by the moon, be held by its magic and its beauty, rest there in that peace, in that acceptance of the chaos. And then we can start to find this magic, the stuff that we were looking for over here, that we're actually avoiding by avoiding the truth. We have to go through this little path in order to find this refuge, to find this beauty, to find this magic, the bit that we've been looking for. Okay, I'm going to pull a tarot card, something else. I'm going to pull this card because interesting. And we have the moon. So the moon, obviously we're talking about the moon itself. Beautiful card to be coming up anyway. But the moon is these unseen things, things not quite looking how they first seem. You know, there's a bit of an illusion going on, and I think that's really echoing the rest of this reading. You know, things not being as they seem. Like I said, we're coming at something, closing off to this truth, but we actually need to lean into the truth, lean into the chaos to get the peace. And that's kind of what the moon is saying, is like you need to make different moves. Something a bit out of the ordinary, something that you can't really see right now. You have to just kind of let go. There's like a real letting go energy here with this position that she's in, letting go to the moon. And very echo of this card, let go to the moon. Let the moon do what it needs to do. Let this time have the effect that it needs to have. Open up to this truth so we can move through this path. I'm going to shuffle these. I'm just going to take one from the top. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So what is he asking? What's he bringing into this? The first kind of male energy that we have here. He wants to go here. There's an offering. I really feel like he's offering up to this. I was going to say owl, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, it might be an owl. Offering up to this owl. We have an echo here again of the hand, offering up the hand and the bird. A lot of this imagery of outstretched hands. There's either a reaching or an offering. And I feel like you need to what's the wording I'm trying to put here? There's an offering that needs to happen so that we can open up and be held by the moon. This is kind of like an emotional offering. This is an opening up to the wisdom, and this is more of a physical offering. So I don't know if this is going to be quite as intentional. I feel like this might be more of a side effect, as it were. So for example, as we move through this chaos and this thunderstorm, this change, it might be tiring. This feels like a physical repercussion sounds like a very strong word. It feels like a physical giving, and it might not necessarily be I've completely lost my words. Intentional, as in it might not be a decided thing. It might just be something that is sort of taken from us a little bit. Like, we need to offer it up and we need to be open to offering it up, but it's going to be sort of taken anyway. This bird is coming down to take it regardless of whether we want to give it or not. So we need to give it. So open up to maybe being a bit, physically tired, something physical coming out. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but something physical is being given, this physical energy, physical movement, and a physical act of something, doing something, making some moves, being bold, making that first move. Something physical is going to be offered and be taken here, right? And this is going to be the last card, I think. And then we have the Seven of Swords. So, something, there's a hiding, a holding. This is like Red Riding Hood hiding from the wolf, and she feels very delicate, especially contrast to this aggression, but she also has her swords, so she's not weak. She's not helpless. And even if we look at these two cards, there's a kind of an echo in their positions. Again, this sort of like sideways arm holding. This is an offering, and this feels like a protection. This side feels like a protection, and it's a choice. Sevens are about choices, so it feels like there's this choice as to whether she's going to use these swords or not. And I think, okay, yeah, okay. So the truth that we're hiding from, the truth that we want to open up to, maybe it's something that we don't think we want to use, we don't think we're going to enjoy, we don't think should, quote unquote, should be a part of our practice or a part of our journey or our lives. And I think as we kind of move through this whole journey and we sort of end up over here, the kind of last part of this, the last addition to this, is saying we don't have to use the truth that we're going to open up to. It's going to be a choice. It might be a weapon of some kind, and I don't mean that a weapon to inflict things, but a weapon, a tool, something that we can use. Maybe it's a very strong thing that we sort of give ourselves access to, but this is reminding us that it's a choice. So yes, it might be hard to open up to it. Yes, it might feel like, oh, but I don't really want to bring this into my practice, into my life. But the Seven of Swords is saying, but you can choose. You can choose whether you want to do that or not. And actually having that there, having the option of this truth, whatever this thing is, this piece of wisdom, this tool, this weapon, is actually, it's good to have in our arsenal. We don't have to use it. We can keep it to the side. We don't have to do anything with it. We especially don't have to inflict pain in any way. I'm not getting the sense that she's going to use these on the wolf, even though there's obviously aggression coming. There might be something else that she can do, but having that sword there is protection, and it gives an option in case it's needed. So don't feel like just because you open up to this truth and you're going to go through all of this craziness that you have to use it at the end. It's just another tool that wants to come through. This piece of wisdom is a tool that wants to come through. It wants to be seen by you. It wants the chance to maybe be used if you need it. And maybe you will need it at some point. So yeah, I think that's the message. Let me see if there's anything else that wants to come through. No, I don't think so. Be held by the moon. I'm going to just emphasize that one there at the end. The moon wants to hold you. This might be a little bit crazy this weekend. There might be a lot of stuff coming up. There's going to be a lot of, I think there's a big piece of chaos, whether it's the whole weekend or just something that happens. But the moon's there. She's got you. She's here. She's steady. There is peace in this. There is beauty and magic and refuge and sort of being held at the end of this and having this choice at the end, which is beautiful. But also, there might be something we need to give. We might be really exhausted by the end of this, and that's okay. Let go, release to it, release to what this is, what this weekend is, what this process is with the moon. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Me and my sister are doing a gathering online for the full moon tomorrow. So if you are interested in that, there is a link in the description. Would love to have any of you there to join us. I would love to know what you think in the comments as well about this reading, this message, or just this moon in general. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you would like to support me and this channel, then you can go to my Patreon, which is also linked in the description. It would be much appreciated. Helps me to keep producing things like this, which I'm really enjoying doing. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.